Hay found it hidden high on a desolate sandstone tower in the American Southwest. It wasn't just a calendar. It was a cosmic clock counting down to events we now live through. A dagger of pure light cutting through darkness, perfectly aligning with a carved spiral. The ancient builders knew the Earth's deep secrets and charted its future calamities. But the modern world panicked, realizing the power it held, and silenced the mechanism. They used erosion as the excuse, claiming tourists had destroyed a 1,000-year alignment. They sealed the trail, hoping the dust and the silence would bury the terrifying truth forever. Now, the alignments are broken, but the prophecies linger, vibrating through the closed canyon. Do not scroll past this. Hit the subscribe button now and share this video, because the clock is still ticking. Tell me what event you think they were trying to hide when they sealed it off. The vast, arid expanse of Chaco Canyon, New Mexico, is more than just a World Heritage Site littered with monumental ruins. It is the archive of a civilization that transcended its era, leaving behind a terrifyingly precise astronomical record. For centuries, the massive, fortified structures, known as great houses, stood as silent testament to the genius of the ancestral Puebloans, often mistakenly called the Anasazi, who flourished here 1,000 years ago. Towering over the entrance to the canyon stands Fajada Butte, a commanding 430-foot sandstone formation that appears unremarkable until the precise moments of the solstices and equinoxes. It is here, near the summit, that a secret was hidden, a ceremonial marker so profound and so precise that its modern rediscovery sent a shockwave through the world of archaeoastronomy, quickly followed by a desperate act of official preservation that many conspiracy theorists claim was an attempt at deliberate suppression. The mechanism, known famously as the Sun Dagger, was rediscovered in 1977 by artist Anna Sofaer. It consisted of 2 spiral petroglyphs carved onto a cliff face, partially screened by 3 immense upright stone slabs, each weighing nearly a ton. On the summer solstice, an intensely bright, dagger-shaped shaft of light would pierce the stones and bisect the center of the larger spiral petroglyph with surgical accuracy, lasting for only a few minutes around local noon. On the winter solstice, 2 light daggers bracketed the spiral, and on the equinoxes, a single dagger cut through the spiral's very edge. This device, utilizing only light, shadow, and strategically placed rocks, represented a level of sophisticated celestial tracking that rivaled contemporaneous European astronomy, confirming the Chacon people were not primitives but masters of the cosmic order. The enigma of the precision, the racetrack enigma and the official lie, the brilliance of the Sun Dagger site extended far beyond the simple marking of the seasons. Researchers quickly confirmed the alignments tracked the solstices and equinoxes, crucial for agricultural cycles and ceremonial life. But further study revealed even more complex knowledge. The markings within the larger spiral, which contained 9.5 turns, correlated precisely with the 18.6-year cycle of the lunar standstill, a phenomenon where the moon reaches its maximum and minimum declination points in the sky, a celestial event so subtle and long-term that its accurate observation required dedication spanning decades, even generations. This capability suggested a culture with a profound, unbroken commitment to charting cosmic patterns, creating a true observatory of time, and hinting at a deeper goal than simple calendar management. The controversy was immediate. How could a supposedly isolated, pre-literate society possess such advanced mathematics and predictive knowledge? The site's ability to track the moon's long cycle, the movement of which subtly influences tidal shifts and even geological stress, began to suggest that the Chacoans might have been monitoring more than just the weather. The spiral itself, a universal symbol of cycles and deep time, was theorized to represent the totality of celestial rhythm, including the alignment of planetary bodies. It was no longer just a calendar. It was a model of the cosmos designed to warn future generations of predictable, catastrophic conjunctions. This idea, that the ancients had predicted future geological or atmospheric upheavals, is the reason the official narrative quickly pivoted to downplay the site's true complexity. The official explanation for the site's creation focuses on ceremonial practice and agricultural timing, a convenient narrative that keeps the ancient Puebloans safely within the realm of history and culture. avoiding the implication of advanced, potentially prophetic, science. Any suggestion that the Chacoans, with their deep understanding of solar and lunar cycles, might have extrapolated those cycles into the distant future to predict environmental crises or even solar maximums is swiftly dismissed as pseudoscience. Yet, the persistent alignment of the sun dagger, even after 1,000 years, spoke of a meticulous, engineered quality that suggested the markers were placed for an audience far in the future. The sheer effort of hauling those massive slabs of stone up the precarious butte to achieve that perfect alignment points not to a simple seasonal marker, but to an urgent, preserved message. The narrative of preservation became the convenient shield. In the 1980s, following the site's intense publicity, the National Park Service was forced to close off public access to Fajada Butte. The official reason, heavily promoted and scientifically supported, was that foot traffic and erosion were causing the foundation beneath the massive stone slabs to shift. In 1989, it was confirmed that one of the slabs had indeed moved, causing the solstice dagger of light to no longer bisect the spiral's center perfectly, but to land off-center. This provided the National Park Service with the ironclad justification they needed to permanently seal the butte, arguing the site had been damaged beyond repair by modern carelessness. This damage became the official story, allowing the government to effectively retire the greatest astronomical device in North American history from public scrutiny. The physics of the broken alignment, the physics of the unmoved mass. To understand the unsettling nature of the closure, one must consider the delicate balance between the official explanation and the hidden agenda. The stone slabs involved weighed approximately 1,000 kilograms, over 2,200 pounds each, resting against the sheer cliff face. While repeated modern foot traffic undeniably compacted the soft sandstone soil and accelerated erosion, the fact that an arrangement which had survived 1,000 years of extreme desert climate, including floods, earthquakes, and countless thermal cycles, could be ruined by a few years of hikers, seems to many researchers like an overly convenient catastrophe. Critics whisper that the damage was not just due to human feet, but perhaps aided by the very authorities who sought to silence the clock. The core of the hidden truth lies in what the disrupted alignment revealed, rather than what it concealed. Once the light dagger ceased to hit the bullseye, the mystery shifted from how the alignment worked to why it failed. The official line focused on the slab's shift, but it subtly buried the advanced knowledge embedded in the structure. If the stones were truly so delicate, why did the Chacons build a massive 95-meter-high ramp on the butte's southwestern face? A colossal project with no apparent utilitarian purpose? This suggests a ceremony or ritual importance that required immense visible effort, perhaps to lock the alignment into the earth against the forces of deep time. The physical breakage of the alignment serves as a permanent closure on a chapter of predictive astronomy the authorities preferred to forget. Imagine the unsettling implications if the Chacons were not predicting good harvests, but instead charting the major global events that have defined our recent history. The lunar standstill cycle, which the site tracked, is 18.6 years long. Researchers have attempted to tie this powerful cycle to seismic activity, major climatic shifts, and even periods of heightened social upheaval in the ancient world. If the Chacons used this knowledge to predict cycles of drought or societal collapse, then what was the final message encoded in the sun dagger's final years of operation? The sealing of the site occurred right before the turn of the millennium, and the global preoccupation with the Mayan calendar end date in 2012, an unsettling coincidence that feeds the conspiracy narrative and suggests a desire to decouple modern anxieties from ancient wisdom. The fact remains that today, the sun dagger site is inaccessible. Visitors can only view Fajada Butte from a distance at designated overlooks, barred by strict fencing and patrol from approaching the summit. This enforced distance is what lends immense power to the conspiracy. The information is physically there, but it is socially sequestered. The National Park Service protects the physical ruins, but in doing so, they have also protected the modern world from the possibility of having to reconcile contemporary events with an ancient, highly accurate celestial prophecy. The fragile nature of the sandstone soil is the public reason. The fragile nature of our belief system is the hidden one, forcing us to rely on academic theories rather than direct observation of the site's potential. The prophecies of light and shadow, the revelation of the deep hydrostatic engine, if we allow ourselves to explore the idea of true predictive capability, we must look beyond solstices and lunar cycles and consider the supercycles the Chacones may have monitored. The ancestral Puebloans suffered a massive collapse and exodus from Chaco Canyon around 1150 AD due to prolonged periods of severe drought and environmental decline. Their advanced astronomy was not just a curiosity, it was a survival mechanism, a highly evolved system for anticipating the cycles of nature. It is entirely plausible that their prophecies extended far beyond their own collapse, utilizing the sun dagger to encode a timeline of future catastrophic pressures on the North American continent. Consider the notion that the 9.5 turns of the large spiral are not merely decorative, but represent a counting system that extends across millennia, marking a series of powerful solar maximums or geomagnetic reversals. A highly active sun, producing massive solar flares and coronal mass ejections, poses one of the single greatest threats to modern technological civilization, capable of crippling power grids and electronic communication globally. If the Chacon astronomers possessed the observational data to predict these periods of solar upheaval, the sun dagger was not a calendar for planting corn. It was a beacon marking the dates of cosmic vulnerability for the world that would succeed them. The conspiracy hinges on the suspicion that the site was not closed because it was broken, but because it was working too well, its alignments quietly ticking toward a date of modern significance. The initial discovery was made in 1977, just as the world was entering a new technological age. The closure happened in the late 1980s and was cemented by the 1990s, precisely as globalization and digital networks began to link the planet irrevocably. The possibility that the sun dagger, through its complex lunar and solar tracking, pointed to a specific year, a year of maximum solar vulnerability, a year of geological strain, or a major economic realignment, is the terrifying prospect that led to the government-mandated physical restriction. The spiral on Fajada Butte, etched into the rock and now only observed through time-lapse photography, has become an enduring symbol of forbidden knowledge. It is the ancient world's reminder that the forces of the cosmos do not operate on a human timetable, and that complex cyclical patterns exist that can be predicted, but not escaped. The narrative of the ancient Puebloans deliberately sealing off their own sites and knowledge, as referenced in contemporary Pueblo traditions, gives even more weight to the modern sealing. It suggests a precedent. The Chacones themselves may have closed off the canyon because they realized their knowledge was too powerful or too terrifying for the hands of those who would come later, foreshadowing the very containment effort executed by the National Park Service centuries later. The legacy of the sealed truth, the suppression of the truth and the desert's destiny. The lasting impact of the sealing off of Fajada Butte is the creation of a modern myth, a perfect intersection of archaeological discovery and government opacity. The official story is that tourism damaged the site beyond repair, forcing closure for preservation. The unofficial truth, the one whispered in the vast, echoing silence of the canyon, is that the site was sealed because its message was becoming dangerously relevant to the 21st century. The damage, whether accidental or subtly engineered, was the excuse, not the reason, allowing the authorities to maintain control over a narrative that could destabilize public faith in contemporary scientific understanding. If the Chacoans indeed sealed off their buildings, as some Pueblo elders suggest, because they were corrupted by the power of their own knowledge, the ability to manipulate and predict the cosmos, then the modern closure of the Sun Dagger site reflects a profound continuation of this ancient tradition of self-censorship. The modern government, acting as the reluctant custodian of this ancient power, chose to deny the populace access, not to protect the rock, but to protect the fragile fabric of human society from a truth that might imply chaos or unavoidable fate. The stone slabs shifting out of alignment are merely the physical manifestation of a deeper human decision to break the cosmic connection. The true legacy of Fajada Butte is the realization that prediction and prophecy are often two sides of the same coin, and that the sophistication of the ancestral Puebloans was not just in their engineering, but in their wisdom concerning the dangers of revelation. The stone slabs stand today, watched only by remote cameras and dedicated monitors, a monument to a prophecy that was deemed too potent for the general public. We are left with the architectural remnants, the massive great houses aligned perfectly with solar and lunar cues, and the knowledge that the greatest astronomical clock in ancient North America has been permanently silenced. Its final, crucial prediction, forever locked behind a metal fence and an official Park Service decree. The final question that hangs over Chaco Canyon and its sealed butte is not whether the stones shifted, but what date the dagger was pointing to when they decided to close it off. The precision of the Chaconne calendar, which was reportedly more accurate than the Gregorian calendar used in Europe at the time, means that its predictions were not vague omens, but precise moments in time. That level of certainty, combined with the catastrophic nature of the Puebloan collapse, implies that the final prophecy was one of warning, a terrifying timeline of global or environmental trauma. This is the secret the authorities are truly preserving. Not the physical integrity of a rock, but the stability of the present moment from the inevitable future, foretold by the brilliant minds of 1,000 years ago.